Let's see. Let me double check, make sure everything's running good.
Yep.
Pull the old invest answers. Yeah, we are live. Bam.
Sweet.
Okay. So pretty much what we wanted to talk about today was the Bitcoin ETF stuff. I have been keep my eye on this like 24/7. Don't fully understand it, but we're going to try and break down a couple of things, go through a few of things, maybe get to some of our predictions, possibly.
Yeah.
What we
Yeah,
think
maybe.
is going to happen. And then we're just going to have a fun conversation. But what I wanted to give you guys real quick is it is 8:44 p.m. January 9th, and price of Bitcoin 45,686. I was super pumped the other day when it jumped up over 47. Ethereum 23.76, Solana $98.12.
That's still
And
down a little bit.
yeah, it's still down a little bit. Then anybody who is a Doge fan like I was, it's sitting right at 8 cents even almost.
Yeah, what do you mean was? You still are.
Oh, I'm so a big fan of Dogecoin.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah. Okay. So there was the Twitter or X, SECX's page, Twitter or X handle. And did you see that they released the post about them approving their ETF or saying it was approved, but then they came back and said that their
So,
account was compromised.
so, um, I didn't see that, but I was watching the prices today, and I thought it would have jumped a whole lot more after I heard that news. I thought the price would have like jumped way more. Like I'm
Yeah.
looking at the price chart right now. I'll pull it up fully, but I thought it would have went like straight up, like when that
Well,
news
yeah.
popped. But I think
So
they got that pretty quick though.
yeah, whatever the peak was, 47K or something like that. The peak was probably the release of the news and then so long afterwards. But then they came out and said that,
I see it right now.
yeah, that they got
47.68.
you can see it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I can
then
see it.
it plummets.
Yeah, yeah.
That was off. That was probably the release point of when they were saying, actually, no, our account was compromised.
Mm.
So then there was obviously a big sell-off. But it went from yeah, so 46 to 47, whatever that is, percent or two. But some of the questions that I had chalked up today, I think they'll be in the title or whatever, or thumbnail. So what I have is, what is an ETF or the Bitcoin ETF? And so an ETF, what I have is an exchange traded fund. So then basically it can go on, an ETF can be released onto the exchange, which is huge news for crypto. Crypto has always been on, smaller platforms or solely crypto platforms, and now it's making a shift over into the stock exchange, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And with it potentially, I can't say it for certain because we don't know exactly yet, but with it being released, dude, it's gonna be stinking. It'll be crazy what happens, I think, afterwards. Maybe, I think obviously we're going to see a big spike off of the start. But pretty much from the approval, from the time of the approval, you think it's going to just straight moon
I
or
mean,
hockey stick up to the right?
it did that today. It literally went. Like, it's on the screen
Yeah.
right now, so anybody
Yeah.
watching can see it. But yeah, it went straight up. The big question is how high straight up does it go, and like where does it hit a peak and start maybe like tipping off a little bit, like, and then will it go straight up and then trade sideways? Because
I don't think so.
I mean, all my
Here's why. No, here's why. So the reason why I don't think, okay, so the assumption being that it is going to get approved, and it does get approved. Okay, so it gets approved, you're going to have a massive spike, but then it's all the old money, like, the kind of the new money, old money saying.
mm-hmm.
All the old money is going to be flooding into the marketplace, and that's really where supply and demand is going to start to take place.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be drastically
well,
different
I was listening to
price-wise.
Invest Answers, and one of the things that he had said was when they came out with the gold ETFs, gold like went on like an 8-year run, and he's
Mm-hmm.
like talking about how Bitcoin's even a harder asset than gold is, and
More scarce
it's way more scarce.
with a finite amount.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a finite amount and it's way more scarce. And so I'm like, it's just it's new territory is what it is, and that's why to me, and I think anybody interested in trading, even if you're not into Bitcoin or crypto, it still is like really interesting to look at and see what's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
And then just going back to like the ETF thing, because I have
Yeah.
like a very small understanding of stock markets and finance. Like I have a very, very basic level. And most of the stuff that you and I, you're more on the stock side and understanding that type of stuff. And I'm more just on the more crypto side, but I just have a very basic understanding of stuff. And from my basic understanding, what they're trying to pass, what the ETF is trying to do is pretty much make it so that you can invest in Bitcoin through these other. They're not exchange. Are they
Yeah,
exchanges?
yeah,
Yeah,
exchanges.
like more safer exchanges and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it's bringing, so like with all the big exchanges, Fidelity, TD Ameritrade, it's all under the SEC's trading guidelines. All the
Mm-hmm.
laws and regulations are all set in stone. Everything's figured out. Um, so like if someone was to go on to Coinbase, I don't know, just you're making the assumption that someone's old, like an older individual that has been investing in an index fund all their life. Now they're going to have the opportunity to invest into Bitcoin.
It's almost like in a for me like a dumbed down language. And if I'm wrong, somebody please correct me. But it's a way of investing in Bitcoin without having to deal with exchanges, like crypto exchanges and wallets,
Yep.
pretty much.
Yeah. For them it's going to be a way more simpler and or safe bet on Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's like I mean those exchanges are in the trillions of dollars that they have underneath them. So what is Bitcoin at currently? What is it? Market cap? Under a
Uh,
trillion.
yeah, market cap right now is 896
We're
billion.
talking, yeah, we're talking I don't know exactly, but
Well,
trillions of dollars that it's going to be um, the potential of coming in. It's not, so if they have $1 trillion of assets underneath them, you can't say that $1 trillion is going to come into crypto. It's going to be a percentage of that.
yeah.
But even if you were to do like 0.5% or 8% of that money is going to get shifted into the Bitcoin ETF, that's a lot of money
Yeah,
coming in.
yeah, like right now, total market cap 1.78 trillion dollars. Crypto, total market cap of crypto.
That's just
So,
crypto.
and I read somewhere and in a different article,
Mm-hmm.
SEC issues sudden warning as Bitcoin ETF raises prime crypto for $17 trillion earthquake, boosting price of Ethereum, XRP, Solana, blah blah blah. So, a couple of the different articles that I looked at,
Yeah.
there a lot of them were talking about like where BlackRock wants to be in like 8 to 10 years, stuff like that. And some of I maybe I can find the article and I'll pull it in. But one of the things I looked at was BlackRock looking to put in $16 trillion into crypto, by 2030 or something like that.
Yeah, it's
And
huge.
if that is true, if that's true, that's like an 8x from the total market cap right now in 10
Mm-hmm.
years. Like that's huge. Like that's massive. It's super interesting. Who knows what's true, what will happen? Who knows what's going to get up if it still gets approved? What are the regulations around it, behind it, and how all that stuff is going to play out?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's what's currently going on is they're going to be figuring all those questions out.
Okay, where do you want to go next?
Um, yes. So, I think in our title we're going to have, or thumbnail rather, when is it coming out? So what is the deadline, as far as we know? I think it's
Okay.
January. I think it's tomorrow,
Um,
January 10th, right?
yeah, for ARC. So I have this other piece pulled up. You guys can see it on screen. I'll scroll down. So it says Bitcoin ETF approval and deadline dates. A list of where the SEC will make approve, deny, delay the current Bitcoin ETF applications. Approval deadlines can be approved, denied, or delayed. Final deadlines can only be approved or denied. So ARC, January 10th, tomorrow, final deadline. So ARC's ETF has to be approved or denied by tomorrow, January 10th.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, once it gets approved, I mean, imagine all the people that are going to be jumping onto the ship. The ship is going to be set sail. Everyone's going to
Yeah.
be hopping on the bandwagon. Now, well, as soon as one hops on, everyone else is going to follow shortly because there's money to be made, is what it
Yeah.
is. Why wouldn't they?
Well, I think everyone kind of already has. I mean, you can
Right.
if you're
Yeah.
looking at the stream, there's
Yeah, I
this
got
whole
it.
list, and so everyone has put in for to have their own ETF, Bitcoin ETF, and so there's a list of approval deadlines, which again, approval deadline has the possibility of being approved, denied, or delayed, but then they have also final deadlines to get all their stuff in.
Yeah. And then going back to that SEC X getting hacked.
Mm-hmm.
I do you think that was someone truly went in there, got into their account?
I mean, I don't
Market
know.
manipulation.
It could be market manipulation from the top. It could be. I mean,
I don't think it was. I think there was, when it comes to crypto and tech. I mean, there's some pretty smart people out there. So I
Mhm.
bet you someone hopped in there, got into the account and figured they'd be slick and post that.
Made a quick
Which is
buck.
what that's what our jump was. That's what
And
our 47K was.
yeah,
Bitcoin.
and then the other thing too with that
Mhm.
is like with that happening, did somebody is that gonna be an issue with the approval or denial of the ETFs?
I don't. Yeah,
Like
you hope not.
does that come into
Could
play?
be.
I did see an article the other day. I don't have it pulled up, but I did see an article the other day. Maybe it was this morning, or either this morning or yesterday,
Mhm.
talking about I think one of the former SEC chairs. I think he's talking on Fox, pretty much saying like it's inevitable, like it's gonna happen.
I think it's gonna happen.
Um,
I think the approval rating's at like a 90%.
really?
Mhm. I think so. I think
Yeah.
that's
So,
what people are
I mean, it's really, really, really interesting, and I'm, I mean, if it happens, I know exactly the first thought that pops in my head. I know
I already know the thought.
what is it?
I should have bought more.
Yeah.
That's of course what it is. That's what everyone's thinking.
Yeah. And okay, so here's something that I kind of have been thinking about too.
Mhm. What's that?
So with the Bitcoin ETF coming and everyone thinking that it's going to happen, because so all these companies, when they put in, we go back, like all these companies right here that have put in for these ETFs, right? Those made the price go up. And we haven't talked about halving stuff yet, but those prices, the price increases in Bitcoin, those are already, I think, kind of in the price already. Do you know what I mean?
What? No, no.
So,
What do you mean by that?
so you know the whole saying, the sell the news type saying,
Yeah, yeah.
sell, or is it buy whatever, sell the news? I can't remember. But the news of these coming out has been out there already, which has made the price increase. Now, the approval hasn't happened yet, but some of the increase is baked in a little bit. So now that the deadline is here, I think that's why, like, over the weekend, because it's like, oh, like I remember back in December, it was like, oh, Bitcoin ETF could be approved before the end of the year.
Right.
And the price would kind of jump up a little bit. And then the end of the year came and it hadn't been approved. The price kind of dipped a little. And then over during last week, it's like Bitcoin could be approved by Thursday. It could be approved by Friday. Bitcoin ETF could be approved by Friday, and the price is kind of climbing up like little by little. And then
Yeah.
over the weekend, it came back down. And
Yeah. Well, that's why it's so important. That's why it's so important to be in the market a little bit, have a general understanding of the prices, and then those are all your points of buying right there.
yeah, I think one of the best things that I've done as far as just my own trading and my own buying of crypto and stuff like that is the news is great. Knowing all the information is great. And I would never ever tell anybody like they have enough news or whatever. You can always learn more news. But one of the best things that I've done is been able to just like totally familiarize myself with prices and where prices are at and how much they move, and like just constantly looking at the prices and the charts like every single day, just getting an understanding of what they look like and kind of what's going on and how they move. Like you almost, for anyone who's like done it long enough, and by no, not by any means am I saying that I'm like totally know all this and I'm super good, but just like you almost get like a feel for it, like a feel for like where the prices are at, how they're moving. And it's really interesting. I've kind of been noticing that
Well, what
after.
I was thinking is like you almost start to submerge yourself into the space,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's kind of what you're saying, is to get like a general feel or understanding of what's going on, and you can, when you submerge yourself, you start to well, with that comes an understanding too, some knowledge. You start to build the knowledge and all that.
It's
Um,
yeah,
yes,
I think that's like one of the best things that you can do.
yeah, okay, and so then yeah, the third part of this was what does which we kind of touched on it, but just to kind of go back a little bit, what does the ETF, and just to kind of solidify it here, what does the ETF mean? And the well, I guess yeah, I suppose we already answered that, but um I'm just looking back at my notes here. Well, yeah, I don't know. We answered that, so that's fine. And but the submerging yourself within the prices and whatnot, you start to get the feel
With the chart,
and
yeah,
under
like prices and charts too, like seeing how
yeah.
things move, how
Like
certain news
I
moves the
didn't I didn't
price.
even look I didn't even look at the prices this morning. Typically I do. I didn't see that jump, and until later on in the day when I looked, and then I was like almost way behind schedule. So then you start to see a sell off or dip like within your past hour chart, and then it's like, man, what is going on? And then that's what triggered me to go and look.
Yeah. Yeah. The first thing I always do is I always like if I see a price move or jump, like we usually once if you get a feel for the prices and the charts and stuff like that, and then after you kind of get a feel for all that and you start gaining like the information and you know what's kind of going on with the news of whatever particular stock or whatever you're looking at, then you can really like, oh hey, like I remember one time, well, there's something, but I was like looking at the price, like watching the price, and I saw the price, start to go up or start to jump, and I'm like, oh, XYZ must have happened. And then I went and checked the
Mm-hmm.
news, and I'm like, oh, yep, it did happen. Like I
Yeah.
already knew what was kind of coming. Like once I saw the price start moving, I'm like, this I can't remember what I think it might have been the XRP stuff. Remember when XRP like a couple months ago, back in November, kind of made that big jump. And
Yep.
because I check the stuff all the time. I saw XRP start going up, and I'm like, hey, I know for a fact that the ruling on this was coming through, and I'm watching the price jump, so obviously it must have went through. And then I went and checked the news. I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think I was
Well,
just one of there.
the other thing too is one of the more important things is about kind of submerging yourself, being in it before everything is going down.
Yeah.
So like kind of with this talk of this ETF coming out, we've been prepping
Oh
for
yeah.
the last year.
Well, the way it started for us was we started prepping for the halving, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Summer of last year, pretty much.
Yeah, and but it was so hard to do that.
Do you want to talk? Do you want to
Being
talk about
in the
that
market when
strategy?
it, as far as what? Which one's that?
Just kind of like our mindsets, because we talked about this a lot, and I think it's
Mm-hmm.
really um, educational, kind of. Um, so pretty much, if you want me to just give a quick lowdown, and I can just kind of say what
Yeah,
my
sure.
my strategy kind of was. Um, so before, I think this is even before the ETF stuff started coming out. Um, we'd been in, if anybody is wondering kind of our story in crypto, or at least my story, we just posted a video about that. So if you're interested in that, you can go check that out. But we, crypto dipped a lot, and we knew that the halving was coming up, and we kind of stayed up on the news, and because it's hard when the prices are freaking crashing and coming down. It's really hard to be interested in what's going on when there's
Yeah,
nothing going on,
I
you
know.
know. And so I had kind of looked at a bunch of stuff. Uh, Big credit to Invest Answers. I love his channel. Just super informational. Lots of charts,
Well,
lots of information.
yeah, and it's the daily listening too. I think he posts daily videos.
Yeah, he
Being,
posts.
but anyone being, whether you're reading, watching, whatever, being in it daily is what really
Yeah, yeah,
was
yeah,
something that helped me a lot. Was like just being in it daily. 10, 20, 30 minutes a day.
yeah. So, Invest Answers is kind of like was talking about, obviously we know all the basics of crypto. It's and Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a finite amount. Most likely supply and demand. It's going to continue to go up, and we know that the institutions aren't really into it yet, so there still is time to buy. Like, don't be thinking that you're totally out of it. And again, this is all back last summer of last year, and so I was like, hey, why
Before
don't?
that,
Was it before that?
it's been like a full year.
Well, so we're thinking about like, okay, we're about to go into another halving in 2024, like spring. Why don't we start making a plan now? Because you and I aren't like, man, you a little bit more than me, but for me, I'm like, I can't just start dropping like thousands and thousands of dollars
Mm-hmm.
into an asset, like crypto, and then just kind of buying it and forgetting about it and leaving it. So I kind of almost like have to create a strategy for myself. So I love how Invest Answers he'll like sandbag prices a lot and like really be conservative with his price predictions and everything. So I had known the prices of Solana, Bitcoin, because those are my two kind of like favorite right now. So I'd known the prices of those pretty well. I'd bought Solana really high. I actually remember Dad telling us about that, but I bought Solana really high, and I was like, "Ooh, what I should do is offset my average price because I'd bought super high." So I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna have to buy a decent amount to offset because I bought it like 190 Solana."
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Oh, I want to offset my price."
190.
Yeah, 190 was I think I bought, I don't know, 5 shares, four or 5 shares, like all
Maybe in
around.
5 years, that 190 will be cheap.
Yeah. So I bought some shares at that price, and I'm like, I should probably, since Solana has dipped so much, if I don't want to sell because I'm a hodler type person. So I'm like, why don't I offset my prices and get a lower average price? And then I kind of set some goals for like the end of the year. Like I had watched Invest Answers video, and it was like how to retire on Solana. And he does all the math. And if you I can find the video, post it in the chat too. Actually, I'll do that. But in the video, he kind of talks about, I remember like the final numbers, like 230 Solana or something like that. And I was like, okay, how much money would I have to spend to make it to that price? And how long would it take me? And if I did this much per month or this much per week, and I like DCA'd in, how long would it be until I got to that goal? And I pretty much like figured out throughout the year how much Solana I'd have to buy per week to by the end of the year have over 230 Solana. And so that was kind of like my goal that I wanted to hit, and I figured out how much that was a week, and then I just set a DCA buy-in or buy price for every single week whenever I got paid, and then boom, let the cycle run, and did pretty good on that. I think both of us
Yeah.
did pretty good on that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I did. And then, well, the thing is too is that being in it early was like almost a byproduct of the ETF release and whatnot coming out. So you were in early before like the bull market had occurred, but now you were in before the ETF approvals is
Hmm.
now coming shortly. So it's like a two birds one stone type deal.
Yeah.
And that was just, you know, a product of what DCAing and being in early and then
Hmm.
having just an interest in it and whatnot. So,
He made that video 7 months ago.
which one's that? The Solana one?
Yeah, he did one like way earlier, and then he did another one, retire on
Mm-hmm.
Solana by 2032. That was like his thing.
Yeah.
Fantastic video. I'll put it right into the chat if anyone ever wants to check it out.
Yeah, I think I remember that. That was a good one.
But that was just pretty much like coming up with a plan that kind of fits my budget and my lifestyle, my reality, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And that was
Well,
kind of
so
of
what do you go
shoot.
ahead?
I was just say
What?
that's what I did.
Yeah. What is gonna be your plan then when, assuming an ETF comes out, probably billions of dollars starts coming into the market?
I heard 50 billion waiting on approval. Like
Like
there's
on the
like
money on the like
I heard
money on the
like
sidelines?
I heard like BlackRock has like day one 50 billion sitting to boom buy
Huh.
to put into the market, to put into Bitcoin. If
Yeah.
like once they get approved. That's the numbers I heard. I don't know how true that is, but
Yeah, I didn't.
that's off of one of the articles I read or some of the videos I might have watched.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then, well, it's just all that money coming in, triggering, which we're in a bull run currently, but then a lump sum like that coming in, followed by everyone else hopping on the ship.
Yeah, because then
And
you got the big time investors, then you got all the individual investors too
mm-hmm.
buying.
Yeah, all the whales coming in.
And
It's fun. It'll be cool.
yeah, and I think for anybody who's like waiting on it, I think it wouldn't. I mean, depending on where your life is at and stuff like that, Bitcoin's going to continue to go up. I believe. And again, I think I have to say, not financial advice. It's
Yeah.
entertainment. But I believe that Bitcoin is just going to continue to go up, and as more and more institutions take it in, the price is going to keep going up. And I don't think that Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million the second the ETF comes out.
I can see $1 million Bitcoin.
No, I can, yes, for sure.
Can
but
you see, how far in the distance do you think it is?
10 years. I think
10
it
years,
takes
$1 million Bitcoin?
I think if $1 million Bitcoin comes, it's going to take 10 years, 8 to 10 years. I would actually say like my guess would be 8 to 15 years, and that's the way that I'm kind of like forced to invest, just because of, I'm not some, rich person. I just take what I have and kind of invest what I have. I still got to eat.
Well, the thing is, that's fair though. That's everyone's scenario. I
Yeah,
would
yeah.
say
And I think
everyone's
that
gonna have their cost of living, and
yeah, so I think too, like just off on like a side note, I think that I wish more people could just be real with themselves a little bit. Like there are going to be people out there who make a couple $100 investment and wake up and it's $100,000 or $1 million. Like those stories are going to be out there, but they're not the norm. And I am a person who put a couple $100 into a crypto and woke up one morning and it was at 100,000. Like I am that one out of what, a million,
yeah, I don't know.
whatever the
Something like
number.
that.
I am
Yeah.
that super lucky person that won the lottery in the stock market, and I'm telling you,
No,
don't,
crypto.
yeah, on crypto, and I'm the one telling you, like, that's not reality. Like, don't shoot for that. If you can't shoot for that, then shoot for the long run. Like playing the long game is not bad. And I still kind of a little bit of
That's I
story.
mean that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're both doing. And but I wish more people kind of had that mindset or that thought process at least a little bit. And you know what? If you want to make some risky investments and try hit 100x or something like that, cool. But don't bet on it. Like don't. I just said to do it, and I said don't bet on it. But like don't think like, oh, I'm gonna take my $100 that I have to invest and I have nothing else invested, and I'm gonna go try and risk it all on a meme coin. You might get lucky, but most likely you're not.
Yeah. I mean,
Play,
definitely go in with caution.
yeah, play the long game.
Invest what you're willing to lose.
Mm-hmm. But the long
That's
game, like you can, at least in the long game, I feel like you can strategize a little bit better or a little bit more. And recently in the past year or so, that's what you've done. You and I have both done, and we kind of have came out pretty decent.
I'm up 50%, I think. I think I just checked.
50%.
I think so.
I don't even know what my
Me-
percentage is.
Something like that.
My percentage is,
It-
is pretty high.
Yeah. Yeah, you're doing a little bit better than me. I went I don't remember what my split is exactly, but it's majority is it might be like 40% Bitcoin, 40% Solana, which my Solana is like definitely pretty high, but that was like that's been the one that's done the best for me. And then maybe like 10% ETH or 20%, something like that.
I can't even
Which
see.
I don't know. Hey, do you think that I should take my ETH and swap it over into Bitcoin? Pre-approval, like a last minute.
I like Ethereum. I like Bitcoin way more than I like Ethereum.
Yeah.
Me personally, I would do it just because I like
From
from a long-term perspective.
reverse play.
Yeah,
Having it is
well, it'd be less risky. And if the ETF goes through your short term, it's less risky, and then your short term increases pending the approval of the ETF would be higher.
yeah.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
But then in the medium term is Ethereum. If the ETF gets approved, is Ethereum going to outperform Bitcoin in the medium term?
Yeah.
Medium to long term. I can't even
so
on Coinbase. I can't even see a percentage increase.
yeah, you might have to. I think there is a way to do it, but
I'd have to like calculate it.
yeah. So post Bitcoin ETF being approved in the next 12 months, where do you see Bitcoin?
12 months.
Yeah,
So I did the math. I had a price prediction for Bitcoin and for Solana, and my
just Bitcoin.
Just Bitcoin. My price prediction for Bitcoin was 127,000 or 129,000. That was my prediction.
Mine's almost going back to just like I have heard people talk about the numbers, and I'm sure you and I have. When applying the numbers and to get a price. I almost want to say, just as a feeling, just for fun. Like I would almost think 150.
150. That's just a nice whole round number.
I think so. More users coming in. The assuming an ETF approval, and being in a bull market, Bitcoin having 150K coin. It's a feel-good number, I think, is what it really is.
Yeah. I think that's.
I don't have any numbers backing that up or any real.
My big thing is, what's the price gonna do? Like let's say most or half of these half of these ETFs get approved. I mean, the last final deadline is August 21st for the people who have put in. Let's say that some of those, most of those, half of those get approved. What's after that? What are the next big milestones? What are the next big things to happen? Because, or then do we see the price stabilize? Where does it stabilize at? I'd say it could shoot up to 150 and then stabilize at like 127, or trade sideways at like 127.
Yeah.
I don't know, it'd be interesting. It's like totally new territory though.
Yeah. The new year is bringing, I think, a lot of fun. Probably a lot of hope coming
Yeah.
into the crypto space, Bitcoin, etc. So, I think that's what I got.
What do you think about Solana? Do you think Solana passes up Ethereum if all the ETF stuff happens?
Like the next 12 months, you're saying?
Yeah, like next 12 months.
No way.
You don't think so?
No. What's ETH at? Actually,
ETH obviously number 2, 2376. And then Tether, BNB, XRP. Solana's number 5, right behind BNB.
Yeah, I'm looking at it here. Okay, so I have a market cap of 285 billion, just about, for Ethereum. Solana's a $43 billion market cap. That's a big jump.
That's a huge jump.
It's years away.
You think
I mean,
so?
I hope I'm wrong. I mean, who doesn't? That would be awesome.
I hope Solana passes BNB though.
It did. It
No,
was
it's
actually
back.
it was
It was back below it.
I don't know.
I think it inched ahead. Did you have a price prediction for Solana?
12 months still?
Yeah. This would be a fun video to come back at and look at. And
Yeah,
at the
I
end of the
agree.
year.
Well, it's hard because you just wanna kind of shoot. Like it's just shooting from the hip. But once you kind of start figuring out market caps and stuff, you can kind of start getting a little bit more of a.
Mine's not shooting from the hip. I did math.
What was yours? What was your Solana price?
349, 347.
Do you remember what that? Yeah, you did. I remember it. Now, do you remember what that market cap was or no?
I do not remember, but I can go. I'm gonna go and look and see when I sent it to you.
Did I say 230?
I don't think so.
I mean, for sure, the old high of Solana would be cool in the next 12 months. I'd be happy with that. I mean, we went from a $8 Solana. Let me pull it up here. It would be. Well, yeah, wasn't it the low?
$8. It was only there for a little bit though.
Well, yeah. I mean, that was probably like the super.
Okay, I found my price prediction, by the way. It was Bitcoin 127, Solana 345, and I quantified it like this bull run.
Yeah. Okay.
345 Solana, 127 Bitcoin. But it would be really fun if you have the thing pulled up. Let's go through the top 10 right now. Go through the top 10 price prediction 12 months, and then we can come back to this video like in December and see how close we were.
Okay, it's 150 Bitcoin. I don't think Ethereum's gonna do a whole lot. Let's say I'll say a $4,000 Ethereum. I'm gonna skip Tether. I know the least about probably BNB. What was the old highs on this?
Wait, hold on. Before you do, Bitcoin approval, ETF approval, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
What about you?
Just because you said yes, I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
I got something to say after that too.
The classic devil's advocate you are.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. B and B. Let's 500.
Okay. So long.
Assuming that the bull market does it some justice. Solana, you said what now?
I said 345.
I gotta go lower than that.
You can go lower.
You know, I'll go to that 260 high. The old high on the last bull run. Let's go 260 XRP. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about XRP. What's yours?
Hold on.
Well, I suppose I'm doing a skip on that one.
On XRP.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you. Wait, did you do Cardano and Avalanche?
Let me get to those first. So Cardano, let's say I'll go $2. Man, I'm bullish on all these, hey? Every one of them.
Or what?
Avalanche. I think Avalanche might do a little something.
I think Avalanche beats out Cardano in the bull run.
That's fair. Avalanche is
34.
Yeah. I would say this is just straight guess. I don't know, $100.
Okay. And then just for fun, do Doge. Doge is 11.
50 cents.
Oh, that was kind of my guess. Okay, so I'm going to go Bitcoin 127.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Ethereum 5,300. And this is pending. This is if the ETF gets approved. If the
this
ETF.
Is the ETH.
If all these prices are if the ETF gets approved.
Okay.
127 Bitcoin, 5,300 Ethereum, BNB 1,100, Solana 345, XRP $1.50, staked Ether. I'm not gonna do that. Cardano, I'm gonna do $1.10.
Okay.
Avalanche, I'm gonna do $92. Dogecoin, 62 cents. 12-month prediction. That's my prediction.
You don't see it hitting in the 70s again? 70 cents? Dogecoin?
I don't know. It's hard. I think the fire might have burnt out a little bit on it. But I'm happy. I'm happy with anything over a 20-cent Doge.
Yeah.
Because my miner and stuff like that. But
all the eyes are going to be looking, I think, on this bull run. I mean, you're always going to have probably your meme coins and stuff that are going to smash and pass type deal. A lot of the eyes are going to be on Bitcoin and ETH. But then the Solana eco chain has just been killing it lately.
Yeah, it's been doing really well.
Solana, I think, is going to probably be up there with the highest, like some of the bigger gainers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just because of not even just the hype around it, but all of the whole ecosystem and the devs are doing they're doing a lot for that.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's going to pass.
Mention the Bonk coin went berserk. Bonk did.
Do you think tomorrow the ARK ETF gets approved?
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, not 100%. I would 95%.
Okay.
I would say yes.
I'm going to play devil's advocate, and this is kind of a feeling that I have.
Sure.
I'm going to say it does not get approved tomorrow. The reason why, my kind of reasoning behind it has nothing to do with news or anything like that. The only reason why I said no is because if it was going to be approved, it would have been approved by the deadline. It would have been approved before the deadline.
I disagree with that.
So
you know how many hoops they probably have to jump through, and You
Yes,
know,
yes, yes, I agree.
laws, rules, and regulations.
I agree. I think that they put in for it November. So it's been
Oh,
months
I
now.
so what you're saying is it's a little bit scary that it's coming up to the deadline date,
Yeah.
is what you're saying.
For ARC. Now, ARC could always refile.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, if they come out and they say, like, hey, this is our reasoning behind yours, and they could refile. I think that's how it works. Don't jump all over me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But I think that if it was going to be approved, it would have been approved already before the deadline day. So I say my kind of prediction is ARC does not get approved tomorrow. When it comes to like the BlackRock final deadline, March 15th, I would say stuff starts getting approved then, like almost like
Mm-hmm.
the SEC pushing it down the road
Yeah.
for whatever. I don't even have like a reason, but just for whatever reason. I know there's so many people out there saying like it's definitely going to get approved. It has to get approved. You know, but what are they stuck on for approval? Like why wasn't it approved last week or the week before? I can see like just being not data, not news, not information. I can totally see them going like, hey, it's November, it's December, it's holiday season, it's this, it's that. You're trying to get paperwork put in, you're trying to get all this information put in to be looked at. And it's kind of a busy season, vacations, all crap, stuff like that. But then when it's like when New Year's comes, when January 1st comes, it's kind of like, okay, rubber meets the road, let's get back to work, blah, blah, blah. Like, let's figure this stuff out. I don't know if it hits that. So
Yeah. And that's
I don't know
fair.
if
So
if
right
anyone.
here, this is what I'm looking at. You had mentioned BlackRock. Um, BlackRock, this is just their little description on Google here, is an American multinational investment company. It is the world's largest asset manager with 9.42 trillion in assets as of June 30th. 9 trillion under assets.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's a lot of coin right there, no pun intended.
Oh, just on like a freaking wicked side note, like totally not even part of the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
The greatest thing that could ever happen to me ever. I want to be sponsored by Zevia so bad.
Tell me you didn't drink one of those just to say that at the end.
No, I didn't. I had them in my fridge, so I grabbed one.
Yeah.
I
Well, that's
freaking
it for
love
me.
Zevia. Yeah, that's kind of all I have. We'll see tomorrow.
Yeah,
Tomorrow's a
it'll be
big day.
exciting.
Dude, I'm going to be glued to my phone. But
I'll keep an eye on it for sure.
yeah, I should be able to work early enough. The other thing I wanted to say too is anybody watching, please, we would super, super, super appreciate it if you subscribe. We're really trying to get to the 1,000 subscriber mark. I'm not trying to beg for subscribers, but at the same time I am. But I'd be so, so happy if you could subscribe. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, give a little feedback too. What
Yeah,
you liked, what you disliked. Just anything really.
yeah. And what do you guys think about our price predictions too? I mean, I'm for the most part sandbagging my numbers pretty heavily. I'm more of a conservative, long-term investor mindset type person, so my numbers are like very, very conservative. I know mostly all for the top 10. I kind of know all the all-time highs, so I'm kind of playing off those too, and where the price will go. Who comes out with what. I mean, it's anyone's games, but it's going to be really, really fun to look in December and see how close or how far off we were. That's going to be super fun.
Yeah. Well, I might be doing a revision here with some better calculations rather than just straight hopium.
I mean, maybe tomorrow the ARC ETF gets approved and all my numbers get blown out of the water in a month. Who knows?
Yeah, right. You don't.
So
But
yeah,
we'll be looking for sure.
yeah. But anyways, thank you guys so much. Everybody who tuned in, everybody who checked us out. Really, really appreciate it. Would love a subscribe. But thank you so much.
Scout's honor.
All right, later.